So I was looking through some website for doing some research, and I kept seeing the bad stuff over and over, like tactics that people genuinely still using that do not work anymore, and some of it looks ridiculous. I'm not talking about the obscure things. I'm talking about the things that pretty well known to be the problem and yet still happening consistently. So we are going to look through what these tactics are, why they don't work anymore, and what to do instead of them. Some of it you might already know, some of it might surprise you. Either way, it's worth going through because most people still use these stuff. Okay, so first one, keyword stuffing. I know you heard about this before, but stick with me because most people are still doing it and it has gotten weirdly worse since the AI writing tools became popular. The basic idea is to take a keyword and just repeat it everywhere, like on title, in description, in intro, every other paragraph, in meta description, in image alt text, everywhere. The logic used to be if Google sees your keyword 100 times, the Google thought that the page was relevant and it used to rank you higher. This logic stopped working a long time ago. I mean, a long time ago. Google has been smart about this since 2011 when they rolled out the Panda update. That was 15 years ago. But with AI writing tools, the problem is kind of came back in a new form. People ask AI tool to write an article and ask it to include those keywords a way too many times, and the AI just does it because you asked to. So you end up with a content that reads like someone with a very specific vocabulary disorder wrote every sentence, looks back to the best budget for college students. It's uncomfortable to read, it doesn't have a flow, and Google can actually see keyword appear basically in every paragraph. It's not subtle at all, and the page ranks nowhere because Google is not being fooled about it. It reads the content, it understands what the page is about, and also understands when a page is just trying to game it. What actually works? Just write normally. Use keyword naturally when they fit. Mention them in title. Use once or twice in the content where it makes sense. Google can actually understand the context now. It knows what the page is about without you repeatedly mentioning yourself 40 times. Alright, this one bit more specific, but it's worth talking because I see it everywhere. FAQ schema, for those who don't know, is a way to mark up your web pages so Google can actually show question and answer in search result. That accordion thing where you can see a question and expand it to read the answer right there in the search. That's actually a useful feature when it's used honestly. But someone looks up to the search result and think, oh, pages with FAQ schemas get more space in result and more visibility. So they add FAQ schema to their pages. Except FAQs, they write something made up questions that nobody is asking for. The answers are keyword stuffed sentences, dressed up to look like answer. You will see someone selling, I don't know, kitchen knife, and their FAQ section is what are the best kitchen knife, and a paragraph followed by where it's just about their product description with the question mark in the beginning. Google actually started pulling down FAQ rich result in 2023. They scaled them down heavily. Only government and health sites would get them consistently. For most of the other sites, FAQ snippets are basically gone, and on May 7, 2026, Google has officially removed FAQ-rich result from search. So all the SEO strategies around stuffing fake FAQ schemas into the pages are gone. But if your page genuinely answers questions that people have, mark it up properly. Okay, I want to be really clear before we talk about this topic. AI generated content is not the problem. using AI to write content on the website is totally fine. I probably use it sometime. Most people do. But the problem is something that started happening when AI writing tool became accessible. People started writing hundreds of articles in a week and publishing them without zero editing, zero fact checking, and zero anything, and started calling it a SEO strategy. There were websites actually doing this. Some of them writing hundreds of articles over the weekend, all of them vague, all of them saying the same thing in a slightly different manner. None of them actually add any experience or opinion or useful information. Some of them actually ran for a while because the content wasn't technically broken, it was coherent. The content was grammatically fine. Google's helpful content system brought up, and lot of such websites fell off a cliff, and some of them lost 70 to 90% of their traffic in a single update. The issue wasn't that AI wrote the content, the issue was that the content was hollow. It did not help anyone, it did not say anything that wasn't already said thousand times. There was no real perspective, no experience, nothing that could made it worth reading over other results. Google has got pretty good at identifying content that just exists to fill the space in a page versus content that actually has information that people actually want to read. Use AI to help you write, draft things faster, get ideas, improve structure, but add something real, your own experience with a product, an actual opinion, something specific that only you know. That's what separates the content that ranks from the content that actually sits there doing nothing. 5,000 IDA backlinks in just $49. Some of you may have got this kind of email so many times, but what actually is a backlink? Backlinks are the links from other website pointing to your website. Google uses them as a signal of credibility. If a lot of trusted sites link to your website, Google figures that you are probably trusted too. That's the basic idea, and it's still true. The bad thing is that when you buy links in bulk from websites that purely exist just to sell link directories, link farms, or private blog networks, or directories that no one ever visits, you pay someone and they link your website to such 50 or 500 garbage websites that no one ever visits, and you expect Google to think you are suddenly authoritative. Google has been onto it for years, and they have a update. Penguin specifically designed to identify unnatural link patterns, and it works in real time, and it's part of the core system. It's not that it checks occasionally, it's ongoing. Best case is when you buy mass backlinks and Google just ignores them and you waste money. But worst case is when you get flagged, your site gets tagged, and you have to figure out how to clean up those hundreds of toxic links. Actual link building is slow when you have something, a piece of content, original research. You either promote it or do real outreach. People are linking to it because it's worth linking to. It takes time, but those links actually count, and they do not blow up on your face 6 months later. This one is pretty simple, but it shows up consistently. Thin content is basically pages that exist for keywords but do not actually say anything. You have landed on this. Everyone has. When you search something and you click a result, and the page shows up as two paragraph. That's it. That doesn't answer your question. It has a header or two. That's it. Sometimes it's a product category page with no description. Sometimes it's a blog post technically about a topic, but it's so vague that it could be applied to anything. Sometimes it could be a location page, just a swap of city name, but content is so identical to 30 other pages of the same website. Google does not rank them well because they do not satisfy whoever is searching. When someone clicked hoping to learn something and they didn't, that's a bad result for Google to have them sent there. So over time, those pages get dropped. But if you want to make a page about something actually cover it properly. But if you do not have enough to say about a topic to make it a useful page, maybe you do not need a page for it. Parasite SEO is publishing content on high domain authority sites like Medium or Forbes specifically to get ranking for keywords using their domain trust rather than building your own. And honestly, it used to work really well. You would write a content on IDA sites and it would rank on competitive stuff immediately. Took a way less work than building your own site authority. Google paid attention, especially around 2024. They started targeting this pretty specifically. Some big platforms saw a drop in their third party content that just existed there clearly to rank. Some Forbes contributor pages got de-indexed. Google was basically saying, we know you are piggybacking here and just having strong domain isn't enough if the individual pages aren't trustworthy. This doesn't mean that guest posting is dead or writing on other platform is wrong. This means that publishing low effort content on trustworthy platform is getting harder to pull off and the window that works keeps shrinking. Click the result. The title was exactly the same you were looking for. You were hopeful. You scrolled through the page and it didn't deliver. It was vague. It was stuffed. It answered a question that you never asked for, but the real answer was buried or missing entirely. Google tracks everything. When someone clicks your result, do they stay? Do they go back and click someone else immediately? This is a bounce back behavior called pogo stacking is a signal that tells your page wasn't helpful. When it happens a lot of times, your ranking starts dropping because Google want to send people to those pages that actually answer their queries. And if your website doesn't do this consistently, your ranking drops. This tactics aged terribly because it relied on fooling people, and the second someone leaves your website unsatisfied, your ranking starts dropping. Match your content with the title. This is really basic, but most websites don't do this. So, programmatic SEO is generating pages at scale using templates and database is real legitimate strategy when it's done properly. Think of local business directory, product database sites, job listing sites, or product category or comparison pages. You cannot generate thousands of product pages manually. So, you build a template and pull in data and generate pages. When someone generates thousands of pages identical except one word changes like best pizza university of every city in the country, same template, same sentence, only the difference is city name swapped. Google spam update in 2024 went after this pretty aggressively. Sites that used to run low effort programmatic SEO at massive scale saw a real drop in ranking. But if you want to run programmatic SEO, make sure you actually have a different in those pages, different data, different useful information for the person searching in that location, or sometimes the term. Otherwise, it's just a noise. And Google has made it pretty clear that they do not want to rank noise. I don't know why people still think this is a viable strategy. Copying competitors' content, just looking at what ranks and republishing it with just light paraphrasing. Duplicated content confuses Google with what's the original content, and if the original content is already established and has links pointing to words, you are never going to just outrank someone with the worst version of them. And Google is now more rewarding towards original perspective and real expertise, and you cannot just fool around. And if the original writer gets to know about it, they can file a complaint against your page and your page gets de-indexed faster. Taking inspiration from what's already ranking is totally fine. Looking at what competitor covers and thinking what can be done better is also fine. But straight away copying doesn't work, and honestly in long term it didn't. This thing should feel obviously wrong but still shows up sometimes. White text on white background so human cannot see it, but Google crawler can technically read it. Tiny text, keyword hidden behind images, keyword blocks into footer with font color set to match the background. This is a direct violation of Google spam update, and this has been forever and they catch it. The crawler isn't fooled by it, and when they know there is a text there and it detects manipulation, you get a manual penalty. That means a real human at Google reviews your site and removes it from search result. Same goes for clocking, showing Google crawler one version of your web page and showing real visitors something different, or redirect tricks that send people to different destinations than what they click. None of this is subtle. Google has been dealing with this technique since early 2000s, and they are good at finding these. Just do not use any of this. Look, lot of this sounds logical on surface. More keyword equal more relevance. Sounds reasonable. More link equals more authority. Makes sense. Publishing more content faster seems efficient. The problem is Google's job is to provide users with more efficient or more useful result. But most of these tactics are trying to fake usefulness rather than providing it. And they are directly conflicting with what Google is trying to do. And the more AI is layered on search, with AI overview pulling direct answer from web pages and tools like Perplexity summarizing the results, the more this matters. Things that are working are genuinely pretty boring to describe. Write content that help people build links by being worth linking to, have real expertise or real experience on the topic you are covering, with sites that people trust and come back on.